We have multiple major free agency updates to discuss for the Golden State Warriors, as there are a lot of decisions that are coming at the wing position for this Warriors team in the offseason. We saw it throughout the playoffs last year. They need another point of attack defender, and frankly, there are some exciting updates regarding the Golden State Warriors' plans over the next 48 hours to shore up that wing position. So we're going to break down what these reports are saying, what it means for Golden State entering this offseason, and frankly, why this is very, very good news for Golden State. So make sure you guys also stay to the end of the videos. We have some interesting intel that's leaking around, the back channels of the NBA. So we'll dive into all of that in this vid. But of course, folks, if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button just yet and you want to stay up to date with everything regarding this Golden State Warriors team, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Only 24% are subscribed right now. I know you guys are tuning into the videos. I see the comments. Appreciate all the love and support you're showing the channel. But if you want to stay up to date, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's just down below. But let's dive into the news, because free agency is tonight and there are a lot of reports dropping and coming out regarding this just wild time of year. So what's going on? What's happening? Well, the first thing that we have to discuss is current Golden State Warriors players, as we have an update that Gary Payton II is considered doubtful to return to Golden State. So that's coming from Monty Poole of NBC. So that sucks to see. Of course, GP2 is a guy that, it's been a long time with the Warriors on and off the roster, won a championship, elite defender, and all of that type of stuff. But Warriors fans kind of understand, looking at the playoffs last season, looking at that run, that out there on the wings, you need someone that can take more of a load off of Steph Curry, off of Jimmy Butler, especially over the course of the regular season. And even though GP2, provides that level of defense, he has dealt with some injuries and stuff that also should be taken into account, but you need a guy that has that more consistent two-way presence to be effective on both ends of the court. And I'm not sure what GP2's market is now at this point. The free agency market seems like it's come back down to earth from, just the nuclear contracts that have been given out over the past few seasons, but very, very sad to see, GP2 go if that ends up being the case. But all signs and reports indicate that Gary Payton II will be off the Golden State Warriors in this upcoming season. So wishing him the best. Hopefully he finds the right footing. But what's the exciting reports? We're starting this off with the doom and gloom. Well, if GP2 is on the way out, what are the plans for Golden State? Well, we have some of those, as essentially Monty Poole also came out and said that the Golden State Warriors are expected to search for an elite perimeter defender. So, especially with GP2 on the way out, that is absolutely what you want to hear out of Mike Dunleavy's plans. So, the team is interested in bringing in an elite perimeter defender that, of course, hopefully can knock down threes and take a load on the offensive end off of Jimmy Butler, off of Steph Curry, and come playoff time, take the defensive pressure off. So, what players are available and who specifically has been linked? Well, let's dive into these, as essentially Brett Siegel came out and said that have heard that Herb Jones and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are in talk for Golden State Warriors within the last couple of days. The Warriors are certainly looking for upgrades in free agency this week and potentially the trade market if the price is right. So you see both of those names, and those are very, very exciting players for Golden State. As you take a look, NAW is the free agent of the class. A lot of people are talking about him, especially with how well he performed for the Minnesota Timberwolves over the course of the playoffs, especially on the defensive end. But a guy, 9.4 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, 3 assists per night, shoots 38% from the three-point line, and even more exciting, 47% on corner threes. He's in the prime of his career at 26 years old, still in the upswing. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, around that mid-level exception, would just be an absolute win for Golden State. He's a guy that can come into the system, really just have an impact right away on this Warriors team defensively. And then, come postseason next year, we saw the level of defense. Of course, it didn't lead to a championship win the series, but he played an extremely high level of defense out there on the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders of the world. He played a really, really big part in the Minnesota Timberwolves, ended up making the conference finals last season. So NAW coming into the mix out there for Golden State would probably be the dream scenario on the wing. Of course, there are more questions that have to be answered at the center position, but we got the Ayton rumors, we got a bunch of random stuff coming out on that front, but NAW coming in on the wings for Golden State would be a massive, massive win. So that's an update there. Herb Jones was also named by Brett Siegel, and he's also a guy that is very, very elite on the defensive end. Just doesn't get as much notoriety, given the fact he's playing for New Orleans, who haven't been in the playoff picture. So last season, Herb Jones averaged 10 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. His three-point percentage is lower. Now, he shoots 37% from the corners, but only between 30 and 31% from the three-point line. So you're getting less consistency from the three-point shot. He has had a down year in that sense. So he's a guy that has, over the course of his career, been a better three-point shooter, but his trade value has definitely fallen off a cliff with these fallen in three-point percentages, which allows the Warriors to potentially come in and make a sneaky move with the New Orleans Pelicans in order to, bring in a guy in Herb Jones that could be a really nice fit out there on the wing, especially if you are losing a guy in a GP2. So Herb Jones, he has long arms, and you saw that on the stats as well. The guy averages 1.9 steals per game, so he can pick pockets. He has those long arms, doesn't block a ton of shots, but is one of the better on-ball defenders in the league. And if you insert him on a team that has more floor spacing, has more options, more guys the caliber of a Steph Curry, a Jimmy Butler to come out and then basically give them more open shots, you're going to see those percentages increase significantly out there for a Herb Jones coming into Golden State. So he'd be a guy that, again, if the price is right, as Brett Siegel put it, then that would be a really nice pickup for Golden State. But one name that I said at the beginning, there's some birds chirping about stuff going on with Golden State, and we have an update in regards. So this is the stuff that came out from Shams Charania. Essentially, the Los Angeles Lakers forward Dorian Finney-Smith is declining his $15.4 million player option for the 2025-2026 season and will enter free agency, sources tell ESPN. But multiple contending teams are expected to pursue Finney-Smith beginning Monday night and a Lakers return is possible. So that came out from Shams Charania. Of course, he wants to go to a contending team, so he's not going back to the Lakers. It's a little Lakers roast. But I digress. Dorian Finney-Smith, there's been public reports about him being linked to the Houston Rockets, going back to LA. But there has been some buzz, some chatter out there, from the channels that the Golden State Warriors could be in the mix out there for a DFS, who, again, defensively really brings it, was a really good pickup for the LA Lakers last season. And if we take a look right at his stats last year, 9 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.4 assists. Though the 1 steal per night, it is what it is. He's 32 years old, but the really just juicy part of DFS's game is the 41% from the three-point line and the 45% he knocks down on corner threes. You bring in a Dorian Finney-Smith, you bring in another elite shooter out there on this group, a guy that can play defense as a size, like in terms of his wingspan and stuff. And, some people are like, oh, Dorian Finney-Smith has been around the league. He's been this, he's been that. He's a veteran player, and, he's been through the deep playoff runs. He's been through all that. So, bringing in Dorian Finney-Smith, he's, battle-tested out there in the playoffs, and I think coming into the mix just would add a whole nother level of floor spacing if you miss out on NAW. Of course, Herb Jones would have to be acquired via trade. NAW DFS could be, signed out there in free agency. So let me know who you guys would like to see out there in a Golden State Warriors uniform next season. Who could have the biggest impact if Mike Dunleavy ends up pulling the trigger and getting one of these deals done? Let me know what you guys think about all of this. And if DFS comes in, to this team, again, it's rumors, very, very much back channel rumors and stuff. But if it happens, point to this video and give it a thumbs up. But I appreciate every single one of you guys. The best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Again, we're looking at 24% only subscribed. You're enjoying the daily. Lots of it's coming over free agency. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.